Welcome everyone to yet another SDN Community Voices, our weekly touch point between the Service Design Network and you all in the community. I'm very excited today to bring a fellow Southern American who is working with Futures Design, who is Bass. And I'll just bring him up and ask you to introduce yourself because I'm terrible at doing this. So I prefer much rather that you do it yourself.
Don't worry. Hi, everyone. My name is Sebastian. You can call me Bass too. I am in Colombia in this moment. I'm from a little town here in Colombia called Bucaramanga, but I am based in Bogota. I am working with service design the past 6 years. I began my life as an advertisement man. And next, I changed my life to design thinking and design process, design research. I am very happy, very excited to be here to chat with you, Felipe, and also to answer the questions that have the community for us.
Yes, so stay tuned, put any questions you have in the bottom, and by the end, we're going to have a little bit of an interaction also with everyone that's watching us right now. But then to start, actually quite interesting that you start with advertisement. I think it's so interesting in service design, so many different people have a different background. How come, where did that transition go to service design and then to futures thinking also?
So I begin as advertisement because I really enjoy to chat with people and to be able to connect with people. So the base that I want to explore was the research part. But in advertisement here, the industry in Colombia don't do a lot of research. So I begin for my part to self-learn or to see, okay, how I can do research besides market research. So I found out the design thinking process. I found out about the qualitative research and began my life in that moment that, okay, I want to explore more about this. I found out about service design. I was like a connection that, this is the part that I like, the part to understand the process, not only the business, also the human part, and be able to balance that in a very coherent way. And the future thinking was the same way. It was very natural. I am a very creative person. I like to be able to envision and to be able to question the status quo. When I work with clients, I always say, why this exists? Why cannot change everything? Why we want to do this? Or what is the purpose of this in the next 5, 10 years? So it was very natural for me that at that part of future thinking, and I found out about design futures like 3 years ago, and I began the same process. I begin to study myself, begin to learn a self-path of learning, and I see the future thinking is a very coherent way to think design with purpose and with impact in the future. And you have to work with many other areas that you say we need to work with many other professionals, for example, behavioral science, for example, architects, because the design or the service design alone cannot be a lot of impact if we not work with other persons too.
Yes. I mean, the profession itself is very multidisciplinary, as you're saying, right? So the collaboration is very important there. So do you think that futures thinking or this kind of strategy of the next couple of years and thinking really ahead helps create this collaboration with the other disciplines that we need to work together?
Yeah, of course. Because when you are thinking in future thinking, you don't bring only your vision. You have to bring everyone's vision. And many people always think that future thinking or future design is you have to predict an exact future. No, you need to learn how to scan the environment and be able to scan constantly these signals that you see. For you able to see these signals, you need various perspectives or many eyes in this signal to see, okay, I see this signal, for example, AI. I see AI it will be a very companionship tool, will be the great tool that will enhance our abilities in the next decade. But maybe other persons see AI like a threat and say, no, AI will be make us more lazy, will be make us more difficult to connect, and you have to be able to bring these visions and be able to understand, okay, what is the possibilities that can happen that. And that is when you are able to connect with other person and we're able to say, okay, what is the possibilities of the future that we have in this moment? That is when you see the famous futures come, that you can see like, oh, we can see there will be a probable future, a possible future, and different scenarios inside of every future.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, when you go into the futures cone, right, and then you get on the preferable futures also, you really have to think it is preferable for who, because that really changes the whole perspective of what is that future that you're talking about.
Exactly. And maybe the perspective that you say, oh, this is the best future for me or for us as a company is not the same for someone outside the company. And maybe someone will say, this is not my preferred future. This will be actually the worst future that I can have in this moment. So yeah, the collaboration is a principle and is something that enriches the process of future thinking and of course the service design.
Yeah. But at the same time, there's a little bit of a negotiation here of trying to understand everybody's perspective of what the future is going to look like. As, for example, the example you're giving on AI, and how you can maybe find a middle term to work together on that. How do you negotiate that when you're working with different stakeholders that have different perspectives of a future?
So, in my experience with the stakeholders, sometimes they are very narrow. They
Mm.
think that the future is only one thing or only one possible path. So, you have to be able to bring the possibilities. And you have to be able to see, okay, I understand that you want to understand or you want to bring this future, but we cannot control everything. We are no omnipresence in this moment. So what you have to be able to say is, okay, let's bring the possibility that maybe the future is something else. What is the signals or what is the change that we have to prepare for that? And how will respond if that happens? So when we bring a lot of perspectives of the future, for example, Felipe have one, I have one, other person have one, we see what is the common denominator in that future. What is the presence that is in every future? Maybe we are talking about AI or food, and we see the presence or the constant is that we have to be responsible about food in the future, no matter what, no matter if it's in a service, no matter if it's in a very bad scenario or if in the good scenario. But the constant is we have to be responsible in the future about food. So we can disclose like many signals of many topics that is inside of that big topic that is responsibility, and we can make a that's called the future wheel. Is like a radar when you can detect, okay, what is the topics of what have to happen to be able to bring this future in this possibility. When you see that many people are connected, for example, we need to be able to see in Congress the politicians are making a law around this topic. If we see that this is happening, we can see what is the path that we are taking. It's not only to say, okay, we have to bring only one future. It's more like we need to be prepared for the more possible future and the possibilities that is around that.
Yeah, that's where like the strategic thinking also comes, right? You really have to understand that it's not just going to be little a path, a
Yeah,
specific path, but it might be that you come this way and you come this way and maybe you come back, and then you really have to understand what do you do if that happens.
actually, I think personally, I talk with other colleagues and they say that they understand it. For me, the future thinking is the way is the more natural way to make an strategic or plan and strategic plan,
Mhm.
because many times when you talk with your clients, with company business, they say, okay, our vision or our mission in this company is to be the best company in 5 years, and that's the plan. And you say, okay, what is the strategy to achieve that? Oh, we will sell a lot of products. And we say, okay, but that is not an strategic. When you are designing an strategy, you have to be able to see the future or permit to be imaginative or creative about the future and be able to say, okay, I think the future will be this. I think the future will be with these characteristics, and be able to say, okay, my strategic is to be the best company that sells this product. If in the future the economy collapse, how I can be the best company that sells product. Or if in the future this company is found other competition, very little competition in the market, how we can be the better product they sell this product.
Mm.
So it's more like the strategy have to be flexible, and with future thinking, you can be able to say, okay, my service is this way, and with this strategy, I can be able to be flexible to change something in the path or in the way that is happening, and don't be only a company or a person that only reacts when something happens. I am proactive. I'm in front of the change, and I be able to bring the change to me in this moment.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting to think that a lot of times it's natural for us to just jump directly to our assumptions or conclusions. So I see a lot of just taking a couple of steps back together to then
Mm.
understanding where people ended up there, right? What were
Yeah.
the biases, the assumptions, the ideas that actually made they think, yes, this is the only possible future. That's what's going to happen, and then you take those steps back to actually see, okay, what is the big lack of the different possibilities that's going to happen, that could happen, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that connect with the famous, you have to frame the problem. So you have to be able to frame the problem, understand what is happening with the problem in the future, what is happening in with this problem in across different lens, not only the design lens or the business lens. So when you are making the first step that you want to understand the problem to be able to design the better service, you also have to see what is the purpose of this service in the future, how this will be scaled in the future. Is this the problem that will help us to solve these problems in the future, or will be a stopper in one moment?
Mm.
So, for example, I worked with a service that it was a service of lending money, and they say, oh, it's very easy. We have to only lend in the money in the store, and that's it. When
Mm.
we bring that the research and we begin to see, we see the people don't close the bank or don't close that bank, especially with the loan of the money. So they have to develop a other brand to be able to connect with the person, because they say they have that stopper in that moment, and they see that is not a good future for them be associated with, oh, we are not a good brand with loan money, but we offer this service in right now.
Yeah, and I think that then tie back a little bit to what you initially started with, which is advertisement and marketing, right? There's a lot of this. What came to mind was, for example, how Red Bull, it's an energy drink, but if you go on their Instagram, they're not talking about their energy drink. They're talking about the athletes that they're using. So it's kind of making sure that people understand why they would use Red Bull's energy drink, instead of just saying this is what we have and this is what we want you to buy. So
Yeah.
it goes back a little bit to that connection, I would say.
Yeah, you have to see the value of that brand, of that purpose in more than in the moment. Okay, you see in the moment that Red Bull is an energy drink, but what is the lifestyle of that brand? What is the achievement that you want to what is the goal that you want to achieve with that brand in the future? So they want to connect that storytelling. That I connect with advertising and future thinking, because a lot of future thinking is storytelling. The
Yeah.
future is very, very ambiguous. When you talk with a person and you say, hey, what is the future of this, or what is your future look like? Many people is in blank. Many people is, oh, I don't know, I never talk about that. And when you bring this the future thinking to service design, you have to be able to connect in a story like, okay, this is a story about this service, or this is the story of this environment. What is happening this moment, this aspect, or maybe an event happen. So how we can respond? For example, many people in service don't think about how you can recover about the service. If the service is down, how you recover about that? And many people is like, oh no, we never want to be down. Yeah, you in a happy path, everything is easy, but you have to be able to see what happened what will happen when this happen, and is not will be a very chaotic way to respond, will be a very conscious, a strategic way to respond about the moment. Yeah, a scenario building, that is a great tool.
Yeah. So, I mean, going from April's comment, what would be some other tools or methods that come to mind that are some things that people can look at if they want to start using futures thinking in their work or in their studies?
So I say that you have to be able to understand, or to have the mindset to be able to explore. First of all, you have to be able to explore and have the mindset to see, okay, what else is out there. What and is a tool that is called the Future Wheel that I talked before. This tool is a very good tool to begin the process. You have a topic, you have a brand, and you begin to see what is the trends, or what is the signals that are very cohesive with this product or with this brand. For example, let's say Red Bull, that we are talking with Red Bull right now. Oh, Red Bull is a beverage, is a sporty weight, is also have a metal packaging. So you have to see every of these aspects. When you have the principal topics, you see, okay, these topics, for example, metal, what other signals or what other trends is affecting the metal industry? For example, in this moment we have a deficiency of metal because it's very contaminated for the environment. Many countries are stopping the production of metal, or maybe it's a lot of metal in one country particularly. So you can see how connect everything, and how can you can see many signals that you have to be prepared. When you have that, you can make also able to cluster and be able to say, okay, this is a topic, or a very good topic to explore in a scenario. You can be and see, okay, what is the scenario that we are playing with the deficiency of metal in the world? Oh, it's in a scenario where we have to maybe work with other companies that explore the mineral. Maybe is something that we have to be present in the politics way, or maybe it's something that we have to achieve as a company. Uh, Actually, you can see many scenarios in 4 scenarios. Is rethink and transform. How we can rethink or transform this topic. The other is continue and extend. Is okay, what happens if we continue doing the things that we are doing today and we extend it? Remember and recapture as, okay, what happens if we have this topic, or for example, the metal, and we reimagine the significance of that. For example, we want to be able to say, oh, the metal will be a very nostalgic way to drink Red Bull. And the final is the decline or collapse. What happened? What this tool will, or this topic will be collapsing or is not working. With that four visions, you can see what will happen and how you can respond, and you can have your strategy a compare it and say, okay, my strategy is to be a service more coherent, or more conscious about environment. If we are in the retain and transform scenario, how will we respond with this strategy? Oh, maybe we need to change the packaging. If we are in the continue and stand scenario, maybe we need to make the metal more environmentally friendly. If we are in the recapture, how we reframe this? Or if we are in the decline, what other products we need to, or what is the material that we need to change if the metal is not the correct way to process with our product. Um, Other that you can have is a good moment of storytelling with our clients is when you can bring the signals and you can have like a inspiration card. So, for example, we are in a moment of brainstorming. So you know there is some technology or something is happening in the world that maybe will affect us. For example, people are not consuming more alcoholic drinks. So that is a what if card. So if we are in a brainstorming, we can say, okay, what if we are not only a alcoholic company? What if we achieve, if we want to talk with the persons that don't drink alcohol, and we want to bring our service to them.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. I think I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find it. I remember reading an article once that was quite interesting. That a guy was talking about the different animals in futures thinking. He was talking, I don't remember now exactly, but like the unicorns or black mantas, basically those different things that end up coming about. AI, for example, was kind of a different turn that maybe some people didn't expect. Some companies had to regroup and rechange a little bit their strategic thinking. How do you come about actually thinking about those things that we cannot even predict? We cannot even think how technology or society in those ways can be changed so much in the next 10 years or so.
So the we cannot predict what is the next big thing, but we
Hmm.
can scan. We need to be able to scan constantly. Foresight or future thinking or design future, whatever the name that you want to do it, is about be prepared and be able to scan the topics that you see that will affect your way to work or your vision or your company. You have to be able to detect what is the principal signals and be able to do it periodically, every Q, every 6 months. What is happening in the world? If we are seeing a change in our environment, what is happening with that change? And we able to be able to prepare for that. Also, we cannot predict what is the next big thing, but the needs of the persons, of the humans, is the same always. If we see AI, what is the need they are doing? Oh, and making more easy our work. Is the same need that we have 50 years ago, 10 years ago, is the same. What we want to see is more like, okay, be able to predict, but also be able to say, we want to participate in that scenario when that future, how we can bring it to the table. For example, a good case study is a company that make meat. So they want to explore, okay, what is the future of meat? So one of the scenarios was like, okay, maybe in the future is not cows. Maybe in the future is not already meat. So what meat you will sell? Oh, meat with mushrooms, meat of insects. When they will able to bring that in the present, they say, oh, but we can do that today for the vegan market. And they say, oh yeah, why not do it today? Why is wait when the cows are dead or when we cannot afford to have a lot of cows? It's more like be able to see not only what is pushing us to the future, what is also pull us to the what we want to pull us to the future today. I don't know
Yes,
if
yeah,
it was clear.
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, at least for me. I'll open now though to questions. I think we already have some, but if anybody else wants to put a question down for this last part of our talk, to have Bass answer live, just feel free to do that. But I see we already have a couple of questions. So, for example, Gerardo Bravo, he's asking, so how does this differ from the vision concept in branding?
It's connected, Gerardo. What part of the future is that you have to be able to have a clear vision that what you're doing. But when you are building the concept of vision, sometimes it's very narrow. When in my experience, when I work with clients, the clients say, "Oh, my vision is to be the best company in my sector." Why? Why is that your vision? So it's taken a step before that you are creating the vision and understand what is happening, what is moving forward, and see and be able to say, okay, our vision is this, and we be able to achieve this vision with this strategy, with these signals that we are seeing, and with this service and this product that we are making.
Hmm. Yeah. Then Cosette asked, do you wait to implement strategies when the industry changes, or do you move forward on these ideas ahead of time?
Prototyping. That is the best way. We have to prototype, prototype, prototype. We can prototype strategies, we can prototype products, we can prototype ideas or concepts that we have. That is many very common. Actually, for example, in food companies, they make a lot of prototyping of product. They say, okay, we want to create a chocolate that is made with insects because we see an opportunity then. So they make the prototype, they see how it will be implemented, how will be the branding, how the person will respond. So you can make the prototype and see it is a good chance or a good risk to go in that path, or you have to change something in the future. Maybe the market is not prepared right now for a chocolate with insects, but in the 15 years or in 20 years, something will change and you can say, okay, the market is ready. I already know how to do it. We can do it right now.
Yeah, you start already to understand what you can or can't do, how to do it. So it's really, I think, important to connect those two things that you're talking the entire time, right? The futures vision, but also the design thinking aspect of really making sure that you're failing fast and failing easy. Then we have a question from April Reagan that she's asking, what is your favorite trends report?
Oh, good question. I have a lot. Every year, actually, I collect the reports. I see what is the connections they are talking about, and make my own report for me every 3 months to say what is changing, what this is happening right now, or this will be a trend that is decline. WSGN have a good one, and Centur have a good one too. Frog have a good one. Also, the World Forum International, they have an excellent report, an excellent tool to see what is happening in each industry. They have like a future wheel, but interactive. So if you want to see, okay, in the automobilistic industry, what is happening right now, you can see what is the five six topic that is impacting in this moment. The UN also have the report. They do a lot of future design and future thinking. So they do a great reports too.
And then with this last comment, this comes to the end of our talk. I thank you very much, Bas, to come here. I think it was a very insightful talk to think a little bit about the future, but also, as you're saying, see what we can bring from the future to us right now and start thinking from now how we can change things. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Felipe. Thank you, all the community. Was great. I hope that I was very clear in my ideas. I am really enjoyed this.
Thank you. Take care. And to everybody that joined us online, made questions, asked Bas any questions, thank you very much for coming and interacting with us again this week. I'm very excited to bring all of these different people every week, and I'm very excited to see you again next Thursday with yet another community voices. So thank you very much for your time and for joining us today.